my skin so gorgeous. We thank the life gorgeous. Thank the life gorgeous. I love the life gorgeous. Its torso is so tight. The exhale of inner peace. My name is Mr. Craig Kilborn, and this is The Life Gorgeous, where I share my magical life in hopes of improving your life. It's fan questions today, solo Kilby, just you and me. I'm enjoying the podcast. I'm not trying to conquer the world. I think I've told people that before. It's kind of an exclusive club of people. I have a different lifestyle. I wanted to tell you that I could care less about pop culture and the zeitgeist. I've always been, as Mr. Leno, Jay Leno said, a little standoffish. I don't participate in the dysfunction of life. Hence, one of the keys to the Life Gorgeous. And we have some interesting questions, and let's get right to them because the first one I like a lot. Craigers, I feel like you should write your book now, or at least a first book, volume 1. You have so much to offer on living the right way. Any chance you write a book now? Well, never say never. I am jotting down ideas. The book will be some anecdotes of my life. My happy childhood will take a lot of it. That was the foundation. That's going to be the first few chapters. And there also, I did say there'll be a chapter on leadership because I have a different approach to life than others. Very positive energy with the appropriate cynicism, very pragmatic. But to answer your question, I don't think it'll happen soon, but I'll consider that, writing a first volume and then maybe a second volume later. It's a good point. It is a good point because I thoroughly enjoy writing. Next question. Lord Kilby, I just wanted to say thank you. That's it. Thank you. You're welcome. You know, I really enjoy the Instagram. It's creative. It's a creative outlet for me. Sometimes it's very succinct, just a gorgeous picture of Craigers with a funny quip or quote. And I do like giving back. And I'm grateful for what I accomplished. I know I throw people off by retiring at age 42, but it's cathartic. And again, I've escaped the silliness of life. And you are welcome for that. Thank you. Next question. Craigers, do you have a temper? Do you ever raise your voice? Well, I don't raise my voice in anger. I exult sometimes when, Karl Anthony Towns hits another three-pointer or Ant makes an acrobatic drive. Or maybe I'm just driving in my big black sedan on PCH and it's like, life is glorious. Could have been the name of this podcast, Glorious, Gorgeous. You get the picture. But no, I don't have a temper. I'm very proud of that. I don't have a temper. If I did yell, I'd try to sound like Peter O'Toole and Beckett. Very dynamic. But when I was growing up, when I was in second grade, I discovered basketball, and my favorite player was Walt Clyde Frazier of the New York Knicks. And he had no emotion. He was the king of cool. In fact, he wrote a book called Rockin' Steady, a guide to basketball in cool. Walt Frazier, they named the Puma Clydes after him. He was named Clyde because he wore wide brim hats after the movie Bonnie and Clyde came out in the late 60s. And he showed no emotion. And I really, really enjoyed that. And then another athlete that showed no emotion was Bjorn Borg, the Ice Borg. No emotion. Quite the opposite of Johnny Mack. So, I'm not a fan of people with tempers. I kind of laugh at the hotheads in our society. I don't have a lot of respect for people who can't control their tempers. Now, if I ever raise my voice, it's usually going to be manufactured. Just to, if someone's yelling at a supermarket, well, I would just laugh at them and wave. But if I ever raised my voice, I think it would be like I would be performing, even in real life. I would just be countering some other freak who's yelling. Good question. Kilby, how did you know Monte Morris would be a good fit for the Timberwolves? Had you seen him play a lot before? I had not seen him play a lot before. When we traded for him, I watched his highlights. I researched. I looked at his stats. Very impressed. I always look at field goal percentage, both for overall field goal percentage from the floor and 3-point line and free throws. And I heard about his not turning the ball over. So he has, as I've said, a good floor game. And I'm watching him now as he gets his legs underneath him. He's coming back from a quad injury. And I guess I hold space. I don't know how good he is, but I'm in that honeymoon period where I think he's good. I think he's a smart player. He was actually asked, why don't you turn the ball over? And he said, well, when I was a kid growing up, my mom said, that ball is my purse. Don't let anybody steal your mother's purse, which I thought was a nice way of describing it. But I have high hopes for Monte Morris with the Timberwolves. So far, so good. Hits the shot. I like how he moves and thinks. Nice passing. So I want him to see the floor in the fourth quarter sometimes. I like him. I like Monte Morris. Next question. Mr. Natural Host. That's nice. How do you deal with people with bad energy? You obviously have good energy, but do you try to help them or just ignore them? Well, I ignore them. I'm not going to have a one-on-one with them. And what I call it, though, I do like this. This is another one of my favorite quotes. As I say, don't chase the night, drink in moderation. I can't remember all the other ones I have. But I like to give people their space. So instead of saying I'm ignoring them, I'm going to give you your space. I give them their space and will let them, lead their troubled, damaged lives of bad energy, malcontents, bad attitudes. Now, I could help them if they wanted to tune in to the podcast or if they heard any of my quotes. I try to diffuse it a little bit, but there is a lot of bad energy and I avoid it. So I like to give people their space. Mr. Kilborn, I always enjoy stories from your happy childhood. Can I hear another? Yeah, I don't know if I've told this one. It's just more of a experience I had where when I was younger, I think I was in junior high playing a lot of basketball, and the goal was I always lifted weights, which is kind of funny because I'm a slender guy, but nothing really happened. I can't remember if was I an ectomorph or a no, I wasn't a mesomorph. Anyways, I was a skinny guy who you can lift and lift and lift, and not much is going to happen. But we used to see these ads to jump higher, which was very important. And there was something called a weight vest. You'd put on a vest that had weights in it, and you'd play ball all day. And then when you took it off, you'd feel lighter and you could jump higher. So I wanted to buy a weight vest that was advertised in Street and Smith. And these are the different basketball magazines. And I said to my folks, I want to get a weight vest to help my leaping ability, my vertical. And my father, who had a nice job, he was a businessman, good job. He was very, what I like to say, disciplined and frugal. He taught us the value of a dollar. He's the guy that when I was in ninth grade, everybody else on the team had leather Nikes for $40 and I had $12 canvas Converse. I was the best player on the team, but he thought it was a waste of money. He said the soles will wear out, the leather will still be good. It's a waste. So I wore the least expensive shoes as the best player on the team. So he wasn't about to buy me a weight vest. Enter Shirley Kilborn, my loving mom, greatest mom ever. She said she played piano, she taught, she had a master's in teaching, she did it all. cooked meals for us, very supportive of me. I was her favorite. I was the youngest. And she said she could sew. She had a sewing machine. I says, I'm going to make you a weight vest. And she actually made a weight vest. It was amazing. Where she made a vest, she had a little strap belt for me, and then she had pockets she built, and she'd put sand in them. She would put sand in them, and it got to be kind of heavy. And I wore it. And a friend of mine said, "Oh, you wore it all the time. You wore it all around during the summer. You just wore your weight vest." And my mom made it. And just to let you know, she broke 3 sewing needles when she was making it. Yeah, it was not easy because she put the sand in there and she had to add a little more support and they would hit the sand or something like that because it was enclosed with the sand. And that's just my mom loving the little blonde man who was so smooth on the court. And she made me a weight vest. And I'm so grateful. She did a lot for me, my mom. And I'll just tell you, I don't have a sweet tooth, but for some reason, she made oatmeal cookies for me. And they're my favorite cookies, oatmeal cookies, not with raisins. You ready? Shredded coconut, chewy, chewy, chewy. Yes, I love oatmeal cookies with shredded coconut. There's your happy childhood. There it is right there. Better than chocolate chip cookies. This is fun. Timberwolves on a roll. I'm fired up. I can't wait for the playoffs. We're going to talk restaurants next time. Some of my favorite restaurants are closing in Los Angeles. We'll talk about it next time. I wonder what happened to that weight vest. I wonder if it's destroyed or some young kid in Minnesota is wearing it right now. Maybe it was at a Goodwill store. I could dunk after that. I could dunk in 9th grade. That's our show. I'll see you next time. Remember, young people, I'm proud of you. I'm fun.